Namato Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening, everyone. So today is Sunday, the 30th August 2020. Now, this is just the almost end of the August. Days passed so quick. So this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I'm with you today. And thank you everyone for listening and joining this Facebook Dhamma talk every night. Hello Margaret, I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. And Manish, Pratibha, and everyone. So before going into our topic of the day, I just would like to inform you that tomorrow at 12:30 we will have this Mindfulness Mondays session on Zoom for 2 hours, which starts from joining about 12:30, and then 10 minutes later will be introduction and will be a short speech and a guided meditation and a question and answer like that. So whoever would like to join that Mindfulness Mondays, then you can have the ID and passwords, or if you have already, then just know how to use it, or if you haven't got it, you can go to our website and there is available, or even you can text me, so I will send you that link or ID to join this coming Mindfulness Mondays tomorrow afternoon. And following on the same day, following with that, on the 12th of September, as I have announced, that there will be a venerable monk from Thailand, Associate Professor Dr. Hansa will be giving a talk on mindfulness meditation and what is the benefit and what is it. So you are also invited to join at that as well. Okay? So these are the two special programs that is coming for this on the meditation. In terms of the centers of progress, it's slowly increasing, and slowly we are packing up things and just for getting ready to the Katina on the 4th of October. This is an annual event that we normally celebrate, and it's also it's a Buddhist tradition that been practicing ever since time of the Buddha. So you are also invited to join. But in the meantime, this year we may have to register everyone who is coming to join the event, or if possible you may give us your name so we know that where you're coming from, or how the number of attendance that we have to limit this year, not more than 50 basically. And normally we used to organize in halls in the city, but this year we're going to organize at the center here. So that is the reason we are going to have a marquee, and we're going to buy this marquee for the use on that day. So, and this is just the information. Hello Ankush, I hope from India. I hope you are having you are staying in a safe environment, and you're coping with the situation in India. And Kalpana, Jivon, our neighbor, Pratibha, and everyone. Right. So this is just a short information that I would like to give you. And today's topic is, as you know, that we've been I've been speaking on the basis of the first discourse of the Buddha, which is the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and that's I normally call it as a foundation of Theravada Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism. And then the core teachings of the Buddha is available there. And also, when we look at the teachings of the Buddha on this first discourse, it's so relevant to our day-to-day life. And when we read and reflect, it's so useful for the good life, to live a good life. And so far I have been explained. Now I've been explaining on the Eightfold Noble Path, which is the fourth factors of the Four Noble Truth. And in this Four Noble Truth, the fourth factors is called as the Eightfold Noble Path. And within that Eightfold Noble Path, yesterday I ended the fourth factors, which is called the Samma Kammanta, or the right action. And I've been discussing on that probably about 5 days. So today I am moving on to the next one, which is the fifth one, and that's the third factors within the Sila group of this Eightfold Noble Path, or the fifth in the Eightfold Noble Path, which is the Samma Vayama, or right livelihood. Hello Gautam. Hello Sarala. I hope you're all having a wonderful time. Now Samma Vayama is Samma Ajiva. Samma Ajiva is about the living a livelihood, living honestly. Actually, in the sutta it says, what is a right livelihood? It says there is the case where disciple of the Noble One, having abandoned dishonest livelihood, keeps his life going with right livelihood. So there's the two things here. Buddha was talking about living a right livelihood. And as one is a dishonest livelihood should be abandoned and live a life honestly. Yeah? And here dishonest living, or living honestly, is very, very tough in this modern time. And when we look at the further details of what are the wrong livings, wrong work for livings, then there are 5 things that one should not be doing, should not be living with this. And obviously these 5 are again during the time of the Buddha, not during this time in the modern day. It was just generalized during that time. And the one is the one should avoid, like number 1 is dealing with arms and lethal weapons. Now when we look at the first one, almost every nations are involved with it, and every politicians are heavily engaged in this dealing. So even the Buddhist country, so-called, they still have to deal with that. According to Buddhism, it's wrong. Okay, and the second is dealing regarding the animal for slaughter. Yeah, and animal for slaughter again regarded as the wrong action. And in this case, recently, my brother, he joined with other members in the community in the village bought a few buffaloes and kept it, and then they were sold for the slaughtering. And this news spread, and it's spread so much that it even came to me, and saying that you are a Buddhist monk, your brother is doing this sort of activities, and he is keeping the buffaloes and then sending them for killing. You should inform him that this is not a rightful action. This is not a rightful of a living. It is destroying others' animals. Yeah? And then with that, because of so much stories going on, and I rang him and I spoke with him, and he said that they did in a partnership, but he didn't engage in a killing. And yet again, this sort of action should regard as the wrong livelihood and should be given up. And I hope that he will listen that, and the consequences of selling the animals for the slaughter, he would not get it. Hope he is free from that. Like that. And there are plenty of stories in Nepal as well, that in Nepal we have a caste system because of the Hindu influence, and one of the so-called lowest caste is called a Sahi, or butcher. And within this butcher family, probably a couple of families came to Buddhism, and they studied Buddhism, and after they have studied Buddhism, they gave up this trade of butcher. And after they gave up, from their experience and from their explanation, suggests that their life became a much more greater and more calmer and more sensible compared to in the past, where during that time when they were butchers, it's more of like a money-minded, always thinking of the money, and then no kindness and compassion towards particularly the buffaloes and goats, like that. So they were so angry, and there was constant hatred and desire and greed of finance. But once they become Buddhist and they gave up this trade and this work, they change into different other jobs. And with that, although they were compared to them, financially, when they were doing this butcher or trade, killing the animals and selling, they were pretty well in terms of the finance, but mentally they weren't happy. Whereas now their finance may be not that great compared to the past, but their mental state and living standard much more happier, and more greater than before. So that was told by some of the families, and I felt like, at first I thought, how come they stopped it? Because giving a good money. But after discussing with them and realized that, this is a good one, because the money, you cannot take it away with you, but the happiness that you can be happy here and even hereafter. So that's why dealing with the animals for slaughter also regarded as the wrong livelihood according to Buddhism. And then obviously third, which is a human trafficking. If we look at early this during the pandemic, there was a massive demonstration and protest regarding the Black Lives Matter, and that Black Lives Matter simply developed due to the slavery, and which was again a trade slaves 200-300 years ago, and that continued As a result of that, there was a protest and demonstrations. And these are, when we look at the Buddha's teachings, we find that Buddha was against with it from the beginning, and known as the wrong living of this. So human trafficking or selling humans are also known as the wrong livelihood, wrong living. And and this is again, if you look at those days and compared to now, is very, very different. In those days, people rely on kings, and a king has got all the power over not only the lands but also people. And yet Buddha faced against with these principles of selling or dealing with the human trafficking or selling humans from one clan to the another, even those days. Now you can imagine how tough that decision was when the Buddha made that decision, and this is again not because Buddha wanted to, but it is just a human standard that everyone should have, and everyone should have a right to have their own rights, where they want to be and what they want to be. It is not like one person has got the power over someone and can be sold into the one or another. And the number 4 is called dealing with any intoxicating drinks. And now obviously this is very tough, particularly in Scotland, because we have Scots whiskies and distilleries, plenty of it. And here, even just 40 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour drive, you will find tens of those distilleries around, the world famous distilleries around here. So maybe because of that reason they cannot be Buddhists here in Scotland. But so anyway, so wrong living, livelihood is dealing with this alcohol or intoxicating drinks. Now, it is just a guidance, right? And it is just a human thing that if someone sells these intoxicating drinks that harms others, and then that causes a disharmony in the society and disharmony in the family. Now, yesterday I was watching one clip or video from Nepal. One lady, a family, a very poor family, and has in that family got 2 children. One is boy and one is girl. And this man, who was only 30 or 31 years old, but excessively drinking every day, and as a result of that, when he was 31 or 32, somehow he died. And because of that death, they didn't have any income sources. All that they had was him, who it's like a breadwinner, and he works and then earns something and then get food to the house and feeding the family. But after he died because of the drink, what happened now? They are in trouble. So the news was that she doesn't know what to do now, because she has got the 2 children to look after, and then she hasn't got any properties to look after, properties that assure her future. And then it is simply he died because of drinking too much. And normally, most of the time, what happens is that in Nepal, particularly, what happens is that all these so-called free houses here in the West, or pubs, there you can drink and you can pay later. And more of, if you are drinking too much, and they will, the pubs will have a kind of a signing papers, like selling your houses and selling your lands in a very cheap prices, and they will do that when you are drunk. So they will sign it, and with that they will lose the lands, they will lose the houses, and that not only damaging their health wise, but they also damaging their family, and not only the family but also relatives, and also become causing a disharmony in the community. And this again I have seen a lot in my own village, where there was very famous called Patti, or the place where people go and drink, and as a result they do not think of welfare of anyone, but simply they all want it is to sell that, and the consequences. Now I was told that before the owner, before he died, he suffered a lot because of this selling, this intoxication, and always worrying about it. Okay, so this is also the wrong livelihood, is the selling alcohols and intoxicants. Now, although it is a principles, but having said that, I'm not saying that there are no pubs or dealing with the alcohols at all. Look at in Thailand, alcohol is a massive problem, and alcohol has been the problem of all other problems in the society in Thailand, and even other countries as well. So alcohol is not only the alcohol, but also drugs and substance that clouds their mind, heroines and cocaines, and these are all regarded as a wrong livelihood. One should not be doing these works, or should not be engaged in dealing with these livelihood, and any money that you earn from these trades, according to Buddhism, that won't last long, and a person who acquire wealth, they also do not feel happy, and they do not even feel comfortable, and always fear of stealing or fear of other people may cause like that. Okay, so that's the fourth one, which is a wrong livelihood. And the last one is a poisons, or selling of poisons. Obviously we know that selling of poisons is one of the very wrong one that causes death of others, and this is obviously we know, and we don't have to explain on that at all. But again, these are very difficult to practice, and if you really want to be a real Buddhist, then you have to think of these 5 livelihoods strongly, and if you are still engaging in these 5 kinds of works, or you're earning through these 5 ways, then you should be rethinking that whether you are practicing properly according to Buddhism or not. And then this is again it's too harsh to say that if you are still engaging in these activities, then you cannot be a real Buddhist. So if you want to be a real Buddhist, then you have to at least have an intention to abandon these activities, like a few family members from the group, or the butcher group in Nepal, they have given up after they became a Buddhist. So they gave up trading any meat or animals, or being a butcher. So they changed their way and become a real Buddhist. One of my early Buddhist teacher she was also from this group, and her family, entire family, gave up this way of living, earnings, and then they went on opening up a storeroom, selling the kitchen stops, kitchenwares, like that. So that's why this is a bit hard and harsh to be a Buddhist. So it's not about drinking. Drinking already here, it's too tough to give up. Now here, living, earning things related to this weapon selling, animal slaughter, human trafficking, and selling the alcohols and drugs and things. Obviously very, very hard one to practice, but you can do if you have intention to do. And if you want to be a real Buddhist, then again, obviously you have to keep in your mind that these are wrong livelihood, and will try your best to diminish, eliminate, and abandoning it at the end. So that's why there are saying that they say, when a person or community succumbs to the evil of exploiting others, it interferes with peace and harmony of a society. So this whole 5 things, our livelihood, is basically it's exploiting in the community, and that brings no peace and happiness and harmony. And we can see these are the major trouble around all the communities. And if we can give up and practice right livelihood, then definitely we will be promoting real peace and real harmony in the society. So I end here for tonight's reflection on a Sunday night. Thank you everyone for listening, and may you all be safe and stay connected. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you for your good health and successful life. In a few moments' time, we will have a chanting and guided meditation. After guided meditation, I will be staying a few moments. If anyone would like to have any question answer, you are most welcome to join. If not, then again I will be still there online, just engaging with you all. Until then, see you shortly. Thank you.